My name is Angel. I'm a chess grandmaster and I'm a junior majoring in software engineering. Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you a game that I played recently at the 2018 UT Dallas Fall Open. It was against Emily Nguyen, who is one of the top women's juniors in the US. So the game started with 1d4, and I had previously seen that she used to play. She likes to play the Catalan, this kind of style with g3 and bishop g2, castle c4, which is solid and very annoying to me. So I was trying to be creative and come up with something to avoid that. So the only way I thought I could do that was by playing b6. So now this setup isn't possible anymore because I just take the knight and give up the bishop pair but double the pawns. It's a kind of a double-edged position that I like. So she was surprised, playing knight f3, bishop b7, and she decided to go for e3 instead of g3, which is the setup that she usually plays. Oh, okay. So just e3, which is it isn't a bad move, but it's not the move that White usually wants to play. White usually wants to go with c4, knight c3, bishop f4, bishop g5. So it's kind of an achievement for me after e3. So then I just decided to fianchetto the other bishop as well. Now that it isn't clear what she's doing, I just thought that I could transpose into a King's Indian maybe with the bishop on b7, kind of like play bishop g7, d6, e5, knight f6, castle. And she played bishop e2, just a natural move, develop and get ready to castle. Nothing special, nothing happening. Bishop g7, castle, which is a safe position. Nothing wrong so far. So I decided to go for e6 here. I had two choices, well, two main choices, which is go for the structure with d6 and play for knight d7. Play for knight d7 and e5, which is the main setup for the King's Indian type of position. But I didn't really like it here because she can go for d5, e4, maybe blocking this bishop, and well, it should be okay. Knight f6, c4. I didn't really want to get into this, even though it should be okay with e6 and stuff like that. So I decided to go for e6 because I thought even later on I could still play d6, just lose a tempo if I have to, but it's not a big deal since she played e3 in the second move, third move. So I thought I could then transpose with d6, knight d7, e5, or even play with knight e7 too. And also I wanted to keep the idea open to play f5. Maybe, let's say maybe something like knight d2, I can maybe play f5, control the e4 square, which is very important, and just play a normal position, something like this. Or even c4, f5, which is what happened during the game. So she went c4 and I went f5. I could have played knight f6 or knight e7. d5 is also possible. It's kind of a normal position, very solid. But I wanted to make it a little bit spicy and try to create something, maybe even with g5 at some point, if nothing happened in the center. So she went knight c3, natural move, maybe with the plan of playing b3, bishop b2, maybe queen c2, or rook d1, and essentially playing for d5 at some point to block the bishop. But it's a little bit hard to play d5 with my bishop on g7 because, well, first of all, I could even take, and also I can always play knight a6. If d5 happened, I could play knight a6, knight c5. And that's a nice square for the knight because b4 is not possible since the knight is hanging on c3. So I like my position at this point, although it's nothing special. So I played knight f6. And she went for d5. Now that I play knight f6, I can't take on c3 anymore, even though I don't know if I would take either way. But now she thought that d5 was important because any other move really doesn't make much sense. Like b3, I can just castle. I have a nice position. This bishop is not doing anything. So I'm just gonna go d6, knight d7, e5, and it's really hard to play for white. So she went for d5, trying to block the bishop on b7, prevent the bishop from playing in the diagonal. But there's a drawback of this d5, which is that my other bishop now is really strong after I move the knight, and this plan is also really strong since b4 it's not really possible because, well, this diagonal is pretty strong now. So I just play knight a6 with the idea. Now the idea is to go for knight c5 and knight e4, make the bishop on g7 even stronger. After the knights come off the board, the bishop on g7 is really strong because it's putting pressure on b2. b4 is never easy, and after knight c5 I can always go a5 and prevent b4 forever if I really need to. And also one of the main ideas for white is usually to go knight d4. Well, let me take off these arrows here. Usually to go knight d4, put pressure on this pawn here, and after the pawns come off the board, play something like knight, bishop f3, something like this. This is usually an idea with the bishop on g2. You don't need to waste these two tempi in bishop e2, bishop f3. The bishop is already on g2, and this is much stronger. But here it doesn't really work because I can just play e5. I don't need to take the pawn. I can just play e5, have a nice center, and then castle. And I can probably even take the pawn, but I don't think I'd take it. So she realized that her position wasn't really good. Now she can't go b3 either, because knight e4 is a threat, and she'd be losing on exchange here. Knight e5, bishop a1. There's really no compensation here. This bishop is very passive. This bishop could go here, then it'd be different. So she has an issue here that she needs to find a move, and well, it's hard to find a move. Maybe trade the pawns and trade the queens could be the best chance to fight for an equal position here. But she decided to go a3, which makes sense if she could play b4, or if she was even threatening b4, but b4 is not possible because it's the same thing as before, knight e4, and she'll lose an exchange. So this a3 really doesn't do anything. It's just a way move. Yes, sir. Rook b1. Rook b1 probably more. Yeah. Yeah, rook b1 is also is at least a useful move. Although I don't think even threatens b4, right? Because I could go knight c5, b4, knight e4, or even knight e4. This one, right? And it's still an uncomfortable position. Probably better than a3, but now I'm threatening knight c3, which is unstable. Bishop b2, knight c3. Yeah. At least something. Yeah, it's probably a little bit worse for black, for white, I'd say. But yeah, rook b1 is it's a useful move at least, because a3, I mean, it's pretty slow, and the rook is still on the same diagonal, right? So rook b1 for sure, it's a better move, and probably something like, well, bishop d2 is impossible. Maybe even something like knight e1, bishop f3, something like that. But yeah, the bishop on c1 is a big issue at the moment, and this a3 doesn't help that. So I just explain knight c5, making use of this of the idea that b4 is impossible because of knight e4, and she'd be losing it. Well, here actually she wouldn't be losing an exchange because after knight e4 I need to take the knight, but it's still pretty bad position. Well, actually, yeah, because after the rook moves, knight c3, knight d4, this is a pretty terrible position. That I just take the bishop pair and take the pawn on d5, just an extra pawn. So b4 isn't really possible, and if b4 is not possible, then a3 just it's not useful. And now also I have an idea of playing a5 and a4 if I can't find anything else. Also, knight e4 is a pretty strong threat. So she went for d takes e6, which it's a logical move. That's what I thought. But the problem now, after playing a3, she could have done this earlier and trade off the queens. Now, after having played a3, if she trades the queens off, now the b3 square becomes very weak. So she still has some issues to deal with after trading off the queen, which are very uncomfortable. I don't really know. Maybe bishop d1. It's a very ugly position. So she decided not to trade the queens and play for queen c2, which makes more sense because now the b3 square is covered. And also rook d1 is a potential idea. But the same problem is still in the position, which is the bishop on c1 doesn't do anything. The rook on a1 can be developed because of the bishop. b4 is almost, well, it's possible, but it's usually not good. So I can play a5 here, which was one of my candidate moves. a5 to control the b4 threat. Now b4 is not possible because the rook is hanging on a1, and one of my threats is now to play a4, fixing the pawn structure here and taking control of the b3 square. So probably b3 would be a move after a5, and well, if white managed to survive here, the position is okay, it's solid. So I was trying to find something better than a5, which I think I found, and it's knight a4. Now, even though I haven't castled yet, my king's on the center. There's not a lot of danger, and all my pieces are active. This bishop is really good. Well, both my bishops are really good, and long diagonals, and my knights are both active. So I thought the position had to be okay. Still, the same problem as in the position, the bishop on c1, which is what I'm fighting against. She played rook d1, gaining a tempo on my queen, but I wasn't too concerned about that because the queen on e7 is also pretty good, so that's fine. And now she played knight d4, which I thought was the only move in the position. Otherwise, well, I'm trying to take on c3, double the pawns, double this, breaking the structure, and that's pretty ugly, because then bishop c6, bishop a4 comes, or bishop e4, lot of threats on the queen. So she had to do something with the knight. Bishop d2 was the other option, just give up the bishop pair, and probably the best option. Trying to play for bishop e1, and if not, just play this position, and well, probably take with the knight. It's a little bit ugly, but at least white is solid. Bishop f3, but she didn't want to give the bishop pair, so the only real option that she had was knight d4. Knight e4 doesn't really work, because after bishop e4, queen d2, then knight b3, it's forking the rook and the queen. So knight d4 was the only logical move if she didn't want to give up the bishop pair. And now I thought here for a long time, because she gave me the option of long castle, and it was pretty attractive to long castle, activate the rook, put pressure on the knight. Everything is developed, and she still has the same issue with the bishop on c1. But so I thought a long time about this, and I didn't see it clear, because now I give her b4 and bishop b2 next move, or knight c3, queen c3, knight e4, knight, queen c2, and bishop b2 next. And I didn't really see a clear win here. c5, actually c5. Does c5 work? c5. This c5 works. What do you see? Knight b3? Yeah. No, that's maybe take here first. Oh, take here first. Yeah, take here first. Bishop e4, queen c3. That's what I thought. And now the idea is if knight a4, queen b4, trying to trade off the queens, which is still better for black, but it's not what I was looking for. e5, but then knight c2. This is what I was calculating. Knight c2 or knight b3. Knight c2, I think, right? Because knight b3, knight a4. What about knight b3? Knight b3, knight a4, queen b4. I was thinking a long time in this position, and I didn't see it clear, because now my knight on a4 is also hanging, and I didn't really see a clear win. Queen
g5 instead of knight a4, queen g5.
Knight b3, queen g5, and f3. Yeah, I thought a long time about this too. Bishop f3, I didn't see that.
That's right.
Bishop f3, and
Let's go.
e4.
Let's go.
Take. Yeah, this looks pretty good.
Let's go. Take, ef, g3, c1, let's go.
Well, what if I? Oh, this looks pretty interesting. Yeah, this looks winning. Yeah, I didn't see this bishop f3. Then it's probably winning. What about knight c2? Can you do the same thing?
Let's try.
Queen g5. Well, now I can go g3, but g3 is ugly. So f3, bishop f3. I didn't see this idea. This idea is pretty amazing, and I think it's winning, right? Take e4, queen g7, ef3. Only move, right? And yeah, this can be made. Yeah.
What a beauty.
Oh, it's not made yet. But okay, yeah, this made for sure. Yeah, I didn't see this bishop f3 idea. I was always looking at knight a4s and trying to win a piece, and I couldn't find it. So, but yeah, long castle was the most attractive move. But then I see this. I saw this knight c3, which I thought it was a little bit better. Maybe not, but I thought it was simpler, because now b4 it's not really possible, because now I go knight a4 and c5. Now this idea. Now this I had seen. So because otherwise knight e4, I didn't see bishop f3. That's a good point. So I castle now. Now she can go b4. That was the main concern. So she played queen c2 with the idea of b4. And I think if she manages to play b4 and bishop b2, she's completely fine. But now e5 comes with the same idea. Now if knight b3, queen g5, and bishop f3 was the idea. Right. So knight b3. Now it'd be funny if I actually did that. So now bishop b4, and I saw a forced win here after knight b3. I think maybe she had to go back to f3 and just suffer through this position. But after knight b3, I think there was a forced win. Bishop e4, let's say. Rook d1, and now there's a forced win here. Let's see if you guys can see it. Tactics. Training. What to play with black.
Two minutes on the clock.
Black to move. Bishop d3. I was actually looking that maybe queen g5 also works here with the same idea of bishop f3, but bishop d3 is simpler, right? Bishop d3, bishop d1, and now just bishop c4. It's not only a clear pawn; it's just well, everything is collapsing because now the bishop on d1 is hanging. So knight d2 is almost the only move, because bishop c2, then bishop b3 is winning, and just rook d3. So knight d2 is only move, and well, now everything wins, but I just play bishop a6, training, well, e4, rook d3, queen d6, a4, trying to do something, and now knight a4, and queen d6 winning the piece, because the bishop is hanging on the one we made. So just won the piece, and she resigned. Well, she didn't resign here, but she resigned after e4. That's the game.